on here?
Hello! What is going on here? D&D is going on here. What's up, chat? It is D&D night. Again. It's pretty much always D&D night around here, I think. Some form of D&D content, whether it's map making, monster making, war making, I mean, whatever works. So, you notice we still have a blank spot up over there. Fibble is not here at the moment, but will show up at some point tonight. So hopefully he'll be getting in at about 7 o'clock Aussie time. So we will take a break when he arrives home to give him a few moments to get himself sorted, so he's not sort of rushing. And so we'll take our break around there, and we'll bring it back in the second half. So Sunday night went very, very well. Our little trading montage went along without too many hitches. Not many hitches at all. And our recruits have graduated and are now fully blown soldiers of Her Majesty's militia. This will mean that this coming Sunday we should see them out on their first assignment, which will be interesting. Some potential actual combat, maybe. We'll definitely be looking forward to that. Obviously, last night we did some monster stats. So those that were there last night, we did some hybrid creatures for Paradigm 2, and we're going to do some more of those tomorrow night. Trash has come up with a really cool idea for a creature, which I have slightly expanded on, and we'll do those tomorrow night. Also want to continue with one of the creatures we did last night, and do a caster variant of it. So that should be fun. So if this particular creature that Trashy has created comes up and bites you guys in the ass on Paradigm 2, you know who to blame. It wasn't me. Anywho, we'll jump right into it because obviously we want to get through this first half, and we don't rush through it, but we want to get back into the story. We've had a week off through IRL commitments. Let's jump into tonight's session. So last we left off, after a night's rest, you had woken and discussed plans to reach the tower at Salinka Pass, the bridge you crossed at towards the base of the mountain. You realized the snow is falling, it's cold, the snow has been heavy in the few days that you've been inside the temple, so the snow is relatively deep. Skathis is looking better, but seems to be a little sluggish, a little off still. You leave the temple and start to head down the mountain towards the bridge. Timothy, the shield guardian that Fibble had found, or Fibble and all of you had found, out in front, for want of a better term, a snowplow of sorts, carving the way through the deep snow, enabling you to move at a reasonable pace instead of being slowed by the thick snow. Watching the skies for potential danger, Karnos thinks he hears the rock off in the distance, but keeps that information to himself initially. Much discussions were had on the road about Strahd's intentions and how everyone feels at this point about, again, potentially talking to him about a deal which does not go down too well with Zadriel. The walk seems uneventful for a time, but as you're walking, eventually you hear and see a number of large furry creatures to the right of the path leading down. Adok tries to talk to them without much success, seeming to only antagonize them instead. Like when I say antagonize, it wasn't like they rushed down to attack you straight away. It just seemed that either it was a miscommunication or something. Ultimately, it seems they saw you as a food source and attacked. You then surge forward and try and get ahead of them. Between Karnos, Adok, and Fibble, you trigger an avalanche above these creatures, killing two almost immediately as they're lost in the powder of ice and snow and rocks that is careening down the mountainside. However, in doing so, you are now in a foot race for your lives as the avalanche picks up pace, and more debris and more rocks, it starts coming down the hillside. You start to run, Karnos leading to begin with, Timothy then surging out in front, once again keeping the path relatively clear for a time. Skathis, attempting to aid Zadriel with a rope from his spear, inadvertently throws the spear, impaling Zadriel in the process. But you continue your run. Eventually, Karnos, utilizing his shield as a sled, which doesn't go well initially, but eventually he is able to use it to scoot down the side of this mountain path and reach the tower below, shortly followed up by Fibblestib. After a time and many near misses, Zadriel follows suit with Adok in her pack. Unfortunately, that doesn't go so well initially either. Slams into a tree stump, sending Adok flying forward into that tree stump. Zadriel scooping Adok up, and Skathis jumping on the back like a makeshift sled. You continue down the mountain and eventually join your companions at the tower. Once there, you notice that one of the horses and one of the carts still remain. It's at this time that you hear the large feathered wings of the rock circling above, and you decide that now's a good time to get inside quickly. Shelter from not only the rock but from the weather as the day's starting to draw in. You know the sun's probably going to go down in a couple of hours. It's going to get very cold, and you need to shelter here for at least the evening. You also decide to bring the horse inside to protect it from the predatory beast flying above, which will give you the use of obviously the horse and cart when you need to travel, because you were looking at traveling northwest to the township of Krezk, which is definitely a few days away. And this is where we rejoin you now as you prepare to take your rest in the guard tower at Salinka Pass Bridge. We'll now switch over to said scene. You clamber inside, you close the door. There is a couple of small windows in this tower. There is a stairwell leading upwards, which a portion of it has collapsed. You could potentially get up there and get a better view if you wished, but you're in a reasonable sized room. The fire that was previously lit when you first came to Salinka Pass still sitting on the floor with a few timbers still lying around. Maybe not enough to get you through the night, but definitely enough to get it started at the very least. So I'll turn it over to you guys. Fibble gets down from the Shield Guardian. The Shield Guardian then stands in front of the door in a guard position as Fibble has instructed him. And Fibble moves himself to one side of the room to keep an eye on the window, as you can't hear the rock anymore, but he's sort of watching just in case. I'll turn it over to you guys now.
Skathis! Really? You're a monk, you can't aim?
No, I never got taught that one. I can hear...
My bad.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I've already pulled out my javelin, so I'm just gonna snap it in half now and start making a fire.
So you're gonna use your javelin, or you're gonna snap his spear?
The one that the spear that he impaled my thigh with.
Roll a strength check, because it is a magical spear, so it's not going to be easy to break.
22.
Oh shit.
You look at him, the rope's still tied around it. You look at him, you look at the spear, and then you over the knee, down, crack. It makes a solid cracking sound, and it drops in two pieces on the floor. But as you're standing sort of there looking at him with that look as like, you're never going to impale me with a spear again, you watch the spear as it reforms and magically essentially repairs itself.
I think I made my point, though. So I'm gonna start gathering. You said there's timbers by the fire. Yeah.
There's a few. There's definitely not enough to last you the night. There's enough there to get it started and probably last you a few hours.
You said there's stairs leading up.
What do we want to do? Do we want to set up? Short rest or anything?
May as well do a long rest. We're all beaten, worn, and stuff like that.
And you'd be cold and wet.
That too.
Yes, a sleep would probably be a good call. We've come a long way down the mountain, so agreed.
Yes, there is a stairwell, but it is partially collapsed. Like it's an old timber staircase. Like it's been built into the side of the tower, but a portion of it, probably 12, 14 feet gap, a portion of it is rotted and collapsed.
So with my monk abilities, being able to run and jump, I should be able to make it up higher.
You'd be an athletics check, but you should be able to jump the gap. I mean, the DC will be lower because of your natural ability. How far can you jump? You can jump quite a fair distance, can't you?
I'll let you know.
Because I'm not sure if there's an ability that allows you to jump further, or just, I mean, you got a high number anyway, but it's a 12-foot gap, so you would have to make the roll if you're just going to stand and jump.
No, it wouldn't be. It'd be basically using my movement to get momentum. Pretty much more of a wall run across, up.
I might get you to make the athletics check anyway. A, for flavour. B, to see if you roll a natural one and fall to your death. I mean, fall.
I think the DM's out to get us.
Hey, we've got to make sure it looks cool, man.
All right. So athletics.
Athletics,
yeah?
yes. It's not great. Yeah, I mean, and it's supposed to be a disadvantage because you're still exhausted, by the way. So I need you to roll that again to see if you get any lower. But it's not great. Vancouver with the raid. What's up?
No, don't get any lower.
Okay,
I get higher.
So you make it across, but as you step forward and leap, and your foot catches the edge of the because it's a bit of an incline, so it's like a spiral staircase going up, and your foot catches the front of that first step on across the gap, and you stumble and fall. You take no damage, but you do face plant. And I would say because of where you are and what you're doing, everybody saw it.
Oh,
it was definitely not hidden. Everyone definitely saw the tumble and fall.
Did I make it up there though?
You made it, but you fell. You didn't take any damage.
Okay. So with being up there, is there any more wood up here?
You walk further up, and you get to another what would be the second floor, where the staircase keeps continuing upwards to where the top of the tower would be. This room looks relatively empty and picked clean. It doesn't seem to be too much up here. Maybe 2 or 3 bits of old rotten timber, which would probably burn like paper.
I'll push it down anyway.
No worries. You can ascend to the top of the tower if you want.
Yeah, just looking for extra wood.
You get to the top. It has a trapdoor at the top, which you would have to push. It looks like it needs to be pushed open. You go to push on it, and it seems to be stuck.
No, I'm not going to.
It's not going to budge.
Okay. Cool.
I mean, you can put a bit of force behind it if you want and try and open it, but it seems to be sort of stuck.
I'm not tempting fate here.
Why not? It'd be so much fun.
For whom?
For me, of course.
So yeah, no, I'll head back down with whatever wood I found.
No worries. It's not a huge amount, you know that it's obviously going to burn very quickly. It's quite rotted and paper, almost powdery in some places, so it'll burn very, very quickly. So I'm not going to make you guys roll for the fire. You guys know how to light a fire by now, and Fib will more than likely just walk up and cast Firebolt and light it anyway. Or Addoc, one of them would light it.
Also, I suggest to the others.
Well, then suggest it.
We could. So, talking to the others, do we want to see what we can pull off the cart that's burnable?
I don't know if we want to pull the cart apart. Don't we want to use it?
I mean, we could pull some of it apart to use as firewood.
When you are cold in your house, do you pull your house apart to use it as firewood?
I lived in a monastery. It wasn't a house. It was stone.
Oh yes, it's hard to burn stone. Does any of you magic users have something to cast something to create a fire? And then we could, must be something else around other than our cart.
Yeah, you know what? I've been thinking about something recently. I've been pondering the idea that if I put more oxygen, cast wind into my firebolts, I should theoretically be able to make a sphere of fire that should be able to keep us warm. Haven't done it before though, but I'm willing to give it a shot. If we want to stand back, I reckon it should be, some quick calculations, roughly about, I don't know, maybe 10 feet wide. Yeah.
How about you do that outside?
Well, I mean, but it's not going to keep us warm, is it? If I do it
don't-
outside.
I don't know
Right.
about falling into a burning ring of fire.
I'm just saying, it's massive sphere fire. It's going to be pretty cool. We want to.
How long will that burn for, Adok?
I've got no idea, never done it before, but I'm willing to give it a
Fibble
shot.
turns to you, Adok, and says, "Are you brain damaged?"
I feel like Fibble would go, Misa say, you're so brain dead. That's just, I feel like that's how he talks.
like
Can you
Fibble's going to
redo
kill
that?
you.
Can you redo that as like,
No.
yeah, that,
Hell no.
Lisa say your brain damage.
Well, I don't know about brain damage, but I have died technically 3 times and came back as well.
Brain damage.
So, yay to
Adok.
the sphere of. What?
Haddock, you're able to heat metal, aren't you? Or is that Fibble?
I mean, no, over time, yeah, but not straight away. It'll take a while.
Well, we have
There's a
a
forge.
I can do that.
the construct. Is that made out of metal or amber?
You're not burning Timothy Scathers.
I just
What,
remind you,
wasn't suggesting burning, heating him up. So he radiates heat.
Just go outside, get some wood.
I actually, and Carlos takes off his pack and goes, if you remember rightly, back in the town, I created these boards with wood in. Well, I didn't create them with wood, and they came with wood. But I got a lot of nails, and I nailed nails into them. And I had a bundle of them that we put on the steps, which I put here in my backpack, which I've evenly weighted throughout my backpack. Now, I did use a couple, but I have a few left. And I go through my backpack, and I pull out... I had initially 6 of these boards. I now have 2 boards filled with nails that we can break into firewood to start. It would give us a couple of hours at
You've
best.
got enough to start it, so that you could definitely get it started easily enough. There's enough there to keep you going for maybe 3 or 4 hours. With the addition of the 2 pieces you have, you probably get another hour out of it. So you got about 5 or 6 hours worth of wood that you could estimate. I mean, it is just an estimation.
Yeah, okay. So we need probably a few more hours of burning time if we want to all get a solid, warm sleep. And as I'm saying this, I'm just busting them on because they should be pretty dry, I imagine, from the house.
I mean, I would say so. I mean,
I'll
you've
try
got
and bust them
weapons.
across my knee and-
I mean, you got weapons.
Oh, yeah,
that
we've
you
got
could-
axes.
You got an axes. And stuff. I mean, you want to bust it across your knee? That's up to you. That'll be a strength check. But
we'll use one of my mini axes.
if you've got a hand axe or a regular axe, you've definitely got the weapon. You've got the tools to cut
I've got 4
firewood.
hand axes here. So Carlos grabs out a hand axe and starts doing the old, making them into kindling.
No worries. And Fibble just again says, "You know, I can start fire without that, right? So can he."
Without wood.
Pointing to without kindling. I mean, shoot it. I mean,
But yeah, it has to burn for 8 hours-ish,
yeah,
give or take.
we need to get more
Hence-
wood.
Hence why I thought about having my idea
No,
about the magical. Alright.
no.
But
I'm open to it.
I mean, for
You
once,
know,
I
we'll
actually
try
agree
it.
with Skathis, which is not something I normally do.
I think we are divided because I'm okay with it.
I'm all right with it. I mean, how many times can you do this, do you think?
You're okay
Adolf?
with standing inside of a fire vortex that he's
Did
never
you
cast
protect
before.
me?
But if he does it out the gate as a practice and see what happens. Right, Zadriel, give him a chance, right?
Did you guys all bump your head coming down the mountain or something?
I mean, I did hit a tree, so maybe.
And yeah, I came off my shield and into a rock, so I mean,
I
yeah.
did see you. I mean, that was pretty spectacular. I mean, face plant to a rock, you're still here. You're doing okay. He died
Go
a lot,
outside.
so that's probably why he's brain damage. He died. I mean, well, all three of you died, so that's probably why.
Fibble, can you do something for me?
What?
Can you say, Misa says, used to brain damage her?
No.
Damn it! All right, I was just trying to.
I could say, Timothy, pick Karnos up, tip him upside down, and shake him all about.
Let me pull my backpack down.
This has gone sideways quite quickly.
I don't maybe practice it outside. Is it a ritual, or are you just gonna?
I don't really know what I'm doing. See, I've been reading this book, and I'm gonna lift up the tome of God knows what I'm reading. And,
The one that you had to start again because you missed
Yeah.
reading it for a long time.
and as I was reading it, something about the way that it was written said that if we put a lot of oxygen into a tight space with a bit of fire and compress it, explosion.
But
So,
yeah, Ganos is full of hot air, so go ahead. Yeah.
great. So, Karnos, I need you to stand outside for a little bit. And I'm going to try and do this thing with you out there. Sphere of fire.
I mean, I think it's all right, Zadriel volunteering me, saying I'm full of hot air, but she's the one with wings. She can act like a bellows, flappity flap, like like your lips were doing a minute. I think I broke her.
Nah, I think you broke Adok.
Oh no, he's shut down.
Adog was so excited he ran out
wow.
ahead of you, I think.
Did we lose Zadok completely?
He's dropped off.
Oh, we did. I wonder if he pressed the wrong button. He might be back shortly. Yep, here he comes.
Yeah, you could flap your wings maybe, Zadriel, and give him the extra wind he needs without him having to utilise a spell to create what Fibble would call, Misa say, as a vortex.
I mean, even as an owl, they can do that.
Get back.
Have you seen his owl do anything?
No. No.
Game, set, and match.
Listen, I can't do what I want to do here with the owl. I told you that already. Don't have the tools, or the space,
Yeah, but
or the material. Stop. Shut up and leave me alone.
all right, well, I'm gonna go outside and try this magic sphere of fire thing that I've been convoluting in my head.
I will go with you.
I'm just gonna get up and just walk outside and grab my flute in hand.
I'll follow them to the door, and just Carlos just watching sort of carefully, just behind the door still, because
Yeah, I'm watching as well, carefully.
Okay.
Fibble generally tends to make points.
So, Adok, what are you up to? As you step outside into the cold air, the sun, you can see the sun's starting to set, it's starting to get darker, so we're heading towards sunset now.
Just gonna look around and try and see if there's a target point or something relatively within range.
The target point's up to you, really, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I mean, like anything that looks like it's combustible, or
There's a few trees and
if there's
stuff
a
around.
rabbit like skipping by.
Make a perception check. Let's see what you do see. I mean, you can see these trees and these rocks and bits and pieces around. Small
16.
shrubs covered in snow. 16? Well, there could be a little snow-covered bunny hopping across the road about 25, 30 feet back up the
Great.
path.
Got 150 foot range.
So what is your intention with this?
All right. So
Explain.
So, Alex going to turn to everyone else and go, all right, so basically what I'm doing is, do people ever cast that spell where it's like a burning sphere of continuous sort of fire?
Every night after dinner, yes.
Right,
What, you mean this one? And he casts a flaming sphere 10 feet in front of you.
Yeah, exactly.
And
So
it
what
starts
I'm going
moving
to
it
do...
closer to you.
All right, all up now. I'm good. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take your spell that I don't really know how to do at all. And I'm going to pump a bunch of oxygen into it, hopefully expand it, and therefore keep the heat going with continuous flowing oxygen into it, into a massive sphere. Hopefully bigger than yours, better than yours, bigger explosion. Ready?
So, can I just question you for 1 second before you start?
Yes.
Okay, good. So when I was a young fellow at Dungeoneers School, which there is, I mean, back in Waterdeep, there was a, like, anyhow, the point is, you need 3 things for fire, right? The first thing is an ignition source. Tick, we have. The second thing is oxygen. Tick, that's what you want. But I think you're forgetting the main component, which you're aiming at burning something, but you're going to need to refuel said fire. So I've got these sticks of wood here, so here you go. Take these.
Carlos, this ain't science, mate. It's magic.
Yeah, but it can't continuously burn nothing forever. That's what my point is. How long's it going to go for, right?
Yeah, well, I don't really know, do I? I'm just going to throw a bunch of magic into it and see what happens.
That's
I don't
a good
need
idea.
to think. I don't need to practically think about it too often.
Oh, I get it, actually, because you can stay awake for 8 total hours, keeping that up while we all sleep, right?
All right, okay. Second thought. All right, once I do this, yeah, you take your ignition source, because weaving magic is a little bit, it's difficult. I don't know if I can weave magic and also throw wood. I'm not exactly the strongest person. So, maybe we'll get either you or Zadriel to throw bits of wood into the sphere of fire that I've got going, and maybe, because of the oxygen that's flowing into the sphere of fire, it'll keep the wood circulating in the sphere, further keeping it alight, and then I can move it, controlling the air. Does that make sense? I don't know if I'm making sense, but I feel like I am.
I think so. Here's Adriel, take some wood.
I thought I was going to flap my wings, but I take the wood.
No, you gotta touch his wood.
I don't really want to.
He doesn't
Oh,
have
it's-
any wood.
I can give you pieces of it. You don't have to take the whole thing.
Okay.
It's all right, Zadriel. Just take it 1 inch at a time. It's fine.
Oh, we lost Adriel. Oh no.
People are so easy to make laugh.
I know, right? Oh, shit.
I take
Right.
just the tip of the wood, and I wait for the signal.
All right. So, on the count of fiery explosion sphere, throw the wood. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
All right. I'm gonna start to cast, or attempt to cast fireball for the very first time.
Right, so you're going to cast Fireball for the very first time?
Yes. Well, attempt to. Don't know how well it's gonna go. And if
Well,
there's a rabbit or something moving across.
well, if there's a rabbit moving across, yeah. It's kind of one of those things. So there's no roll to hit with a fireball, obviously. So I'm gonna have to roll a dice here for the rabbit. What happens? And what's your spell save DC?
16.
You know, the rabbit is obliterated in a fireball. As the fireball ignites at your target, and all you hear is that as it is instantly, absolutely obliterated in a large fireball.
I'm going to just try and hold the spell and be like, alright, Zadriel, throw the wood! I've killed a rabbit! Throw the wood!
Don't think a rabbit's an ignition, but... And I throw the wood.
Throw the wood, make a dexterity check. You're not too far away, so DC's not high.
11.
You get the wood inside the fireball. Remember, the fireball's not a concentration, so it's not something you can hold. So you're going to have to work this next spell pretty quick to be able to do what you're trying to do to contain the fireball.
I don't have any more spell slots to do it.
Oh my
So,
God.
as Adok, you release the fireball, the rabbit is incinerated. Zadriel tosses the wood, it goes inside and starts to burn, and then the fireball fizzes out and fades, leaving some burning timber on the road, smouldering.
Well, that was a waste of wood.
I'm going to turn around and go, alright, so first experiment was a fail. What I've realised is we probably need more ignition. Karnos, stand in the middle.
Hang on a minute. And I go out to the rabbit and I pick up what's left of its remains on the couple of bits of wood I have, and I bring it back and say, it wasn't really a waste of anything. You actually cooked a rabbit, look.
It's pretty well charred. I mean, it might be salvageable, you never know. Definitely has a very smoky, burnt smell
Karnos
to
will
it.
start picking at the flesh and eating it to see what it's like.
It's burnt, like the outside's burnt, the inside seems okay. There's a few patches that might be a little raw, but there's some cooked meat there.
Oh, yeah, Adok, that's actually not bad. Maybe a bit of salt, maybe a little longer in the oven, but...
Maybe we should go inside before the rock flying around smells the cooked meat. And us.
That would be a big meal, though.
Yeah. If I could cast that spell again on that, I reckon it'll feed us for a while.
Is any of the wood that Zadriel threw, is that still ignited or just disintegrate in the fireball?
So you'd cut it quite small, hadn't you? So yeah, there wouldn't have been a whole lot left.
like
It'd
kindling,
be like just charred embers.
Okay. So I'll take what's left in my hands and just stack it into like a little tent shape in the inside of that area where we were trying to sleep.
Fibble, just about the whole food thing, is standing there shaking his head and takes the time and casts Create Food and Water, which creates a, knowing you guys are resting soon, 45 pounds of food and 30 gallons of water.
Oh, that's all good and great, Fibble, but this is something that Adok did without oh no, forget it, he did it with magic. Never mind.
Well, I have a tinderbox kit, but I don't have more wood, so...
Yeah. Definitely I am in the same boat. I do not have much in the way of fuel left.
Heating Timothy kind of sounded like a good idea. Like a little hot box.
Karnos, your shield, is that wood or metal?
It's a bit
Or
of both. It's a bit of
Okay.
both, yeah.
Never mind.
Not burning my shield, that's... A, it's a sled. B, I throw it at many enemies' faces. And C, I don't have a sea.
I was just thinking if it was all metal, we could just heat it up. That's all. Just heat it up.
You know what's also another good idea is that one of us could go and look for some wood outside. Shotgun not.
Timothy.
Oh, so you're going first? You're going first then? Okay.
Not doing it.
I don't mind. It's quite alright. Moving around will keep me warm, right?
If Carlos is going out, I'll go out to help him.
A good idea. Two of us getting enough wood to keep the fire burning seems like a good idea. Come
Extra
along.
pair of eyes to keep an eye out for the rock.
Also true. You're very wise since you died. So we'll head out together looking for other things to use for wood. Well, other wood to use for
Roll
wood.
investigation. If there's more than one, you can roll together, or one can roll at advantage.
I'm happy if we want to roll separate. My quality skills at investigation are right up there. I'm very good at looking for things. How about you, Skathis?
Yeah, not so much. So
Would you-
I'll assist Carnos so he can do
Skathis
the
is still
advantage.
Skathis is still at disadvantage, so that's probably a good
Right. That's good to know.
idea.
Well, I'm glad it wasn't the natural one.
23
total.
So between the two of you, you managed to find an old tree that has fallen close to the tower. It's been there for quite some time, so it's, even though it's covered in a bit of snow, it's a little damp on the outside. It seems to have been there for quite some time. It's going to probably take you an hour to maybe utilize your axe to remove some of the bigger branches and bits and pieces, cut them up and bring them back. It
Yeah, I
doesn't
passed
seem, it doesn't
Skathis one of
seem
my
to
axes.
be much lying around. A few bits and pieces, but they're sitting in the snow, so they're probably wet through. This one seems to be propped up on a rock, so it's not sitting directly in the snow. It has a bit of snow covering it. So you spend the next hour gathering as much as you can between the two of you. Constantly eyes skyward on occasion, I would imagine, looking out for the rock that, you know, obviously you guys now know that this rock is obviously nesting somewhere in this area and has realized that there's been food here recently. It seems to be coming back to look for more, potentially. But you don't see or hear it at this point. Seems relatively quiet. You manage to get back to the tower. I need you both to make a con save, however, for being out in the snow for that hour. It is starting to get dark. It is starting to get very, very cold. Karnos, you're good.
18, yeah.
It's definitely chilly. Yours is not disadvantage, it's a save. It's just the checks that are at disadvantage. So yeah, so you feel the cold. You can feel the cold biting at your fingers and at your nose and face, anywhere you've got exposed skin. But it's not too bad. It's definitely cold. Not going to take any damage or any kind of frostbite or anything like that. Skathis, you're the same. Borderline. You're right on that borderline. So you're feeling it. Like, your exhaustion is probably tipped you over that edge where you're really starting to feel tired now. But you head back, make it back to the tower, close the door. Fibble takes the time to cast alarm on the door, and also instructs Timothy to stand in front of the door. So even if someone was to open the door, they probably wouldn't be able to get in past Timothy at this point. So the fire is lit. You have sufficient wood to get you through the evening, by your estimation, and you are now almost. You've got a horse in there too. Don't forget. So there's a horse to I mean, the cracked food and water has enough food for the horse and to water the horse. The horse eats it quite hungrily. You definitely know that it's been there for quite some time without food. Can we time out Simp Patron, please? And didn't have to ban him, just time him out, but never mind. With that, you settle in for, you know, you're going to have a reasonably long, cold evening. The fire seems sufficient to warm this space, however. I'll leave it up to you to organise watches if you wish.
Well, Phil's got the alarm, so we don't really need to do any watches unless you guys want to.
I believe Timothy can keep a watchful eye as well, right? The alarm and Timothy, between the two of them, we should be...
And it looks like Timothy's pretty much covering the door.
What do you think, Zadriel? She's blowing bubbles at that piece of wood.
Then I guess it's settled. Night all.
Yeah, not all. Have a good sleep, Adok.
Yeah. Yeah. You too. DM, quick question. Does Timothy look like he's damaged at all?
He's taken it looks like a few scrapes and that across him, but nothing too severe. He's taken a little bit of damage in the couple of fights that you guys have been in since you've had him, but it doesn't look like it's been too bad.
Right, I'm gonna walk over to him and cast Mending, and just probably spend about 30 minutes to an hour working on Timothy before I head to sleep.
Okay. Looking at him, like, he's at full hit points.
Oh.
So yeah, like I said, the damage that's there is very superficial. Like, probably wouldn't even need to worry about the mending. Looking him over. Make a tinker check for me, actually. Which I believe would just be your dexterity check with your proficiency.
I get. Well, if I'm using a tool, I get double the proficiency.
Or mate, double your proficiency.
Yeah, so it's
so
14.
14. So yeah, looking him over, you can tell that he doesn't really need much repairing. Like, he's he got scrapes and that on his metal. Like, the metal looks like it's seen a bit of damage, but you also, in the time that that he's been with you guys, you do realize that he does seem to have some kind of a self-repair as well. Whenever he's taken damage, he seems to be able to regenerate some of that damage. So over time, he seems to be able to repair himself to a degree where he just looks like he's scuffed up. You could do with a polish, that's about it.
I am not polishing that thing.
But that's pretty much all you said. He's just dirty and scraped and stuff.
Well, instead of that, then probably go over, have a look, realize he's alright, and alright, go backwards, and I'm just gonna read that book for as long as I can until I pass out. Okay,
we'd say you'd probably get 2 or 3 hours out of it easily enough before you really have to sleep. Skathis, I dare say you are pretty well knackered, so you would probably drift right off to sleep. Fibble leans himself up against the wall opposite the door, and he does the same. Just sits there and maybe watches the door for a short time before drifting off. Zadriel and Karnos, anything you guys wish to do before sleeping?
I was already snoring, so I'll go with it. I'm sleeping.
Okay, no worries. Zadriel is resting. Karnos?
Same thing.
Same thing.
As soon as we realised that the alarm was up and the automaton was standing by the door, I just was like, nah, keep time.
No problem then. I just need to make a roll or two for the course of the evening in that case. Seems that you are okay. Through the course of the evening, I'd say probably Karnos, you probably get woken by it. Zadriel probably as well. Skathis not so much. Adok probably, being up reading for a while, would be out to it. Possibly even wake Fibble briefly. But again, the sound of the rock flying overhead, the loud screech of a huge bird is very audible and probably echoes through the valley and even through the tower, as it was quite close. At one point, the whole tower shakes, and small bits of rubble and stuff sort of sift down from the roof, which would give you the impression, and that's what wakes you guys, would give you the impression that it has landed on the tower. It's there for a short time, and then you hear it take off. But apart from that, nothing really happens throughout the night. So you all gain the benefits of a long rest, which would mean Scathus, your exhaustion has abated, and you are fine. So the next morning your exhaustion would be gone. Adok, your second dark gift that you received, it's no longer there. The Misty Step one is the one that remains. It appears that that particular gift was only short term. So, morning breaks, the sun rises as best as it can through the cloud and the cloud cover. You're still a fair way up this mountain, about halfway up, so you still got a bit of travelling to get to the base. You know that you have a horse and cart. You also know that you have a magical barrier which you need to get through somehow. Luckily, looking at maybe not. No. Unfortunately, Fibble lets you know that he will be unable to remove the magical barrier, as he does not have Dispel Magic.
What magical barrier was this one? I can't remember.
Large green magical barrier that Casimir had dispelled.
Oh, right.
Does
yeah.
he say he does not have Dispel Magic? Because Zadriel, if she hears that, will say that she has.
He would say he has no way of getting rid of the magical barrier. Yeah, I'm not sure if I can. I mean, I'm pretty good, but yeah, I can't get rid of that.
I mean, I could try. I don't know how well it will go.
You have that, Z. I didn't know you had that.
Hey, you
Well,
taught it to me when we were drunk that one night.
Probably why I don't remember it then. Right. So you move outside, and as you look down the tunnel that goes through the keep, you see the portcullis and the green shimmering field that is within the portcullis. And when you guys approached it from the other side, you specifically, Zadra, I think you were sort of right at the front at that point, and you saw Casimir maneuver and cast and remove that barrier, which caused the portcullis to raise.
I will probably ask Fibble for assistance and help since I've never cast it before. I don't think so.
He will offer you Flash of Genius, which I think gives you a +5. I want to say. No, let me see. Yes.
Okay. And I will cast it at 3rd level. That's the highest I've got. So
3rd level Dispel Magic. You will need to make an intelligence check.
Okay.
You will get a +5 through Flash of Genius.
Oof. Oh no. So that'd be a 7.
Oh wow. Do you have any advantages or inspirations by any chance?
I have I have the D10 one.
You have a D10. You can add a D10 to it.
No, that's gonna work.
I don't think it's going to work even with a D10 somehow.
Nope.
No. You go through the motions. You mutter the arcane words. The barrier is unfazed. Seems to be of a higher level than 3rd.
We were really, really drunk though, Feeble, so it's not apparently working. Does anyone else have a suggestion?
Something must be around here.
If you concentrate really hard, maybe you could try it again.
I will take 30 seconds to pray to the DM.
Okay.
And
let's see.
I will say a small prayer. DM, guide me this day. to get us through.
Roll a D. Actually, roll a percentage die for me. I'm going to do this slightly differently. So you're going to reach out to your deity to ask for assistance in the casting of the spell. So just roll a percentage die.
I've got a 76.
76.
And magic has just granted a advantage.
And you got an
Zadriel.
advantage. Cool.
Woohoo.
So on the second attempt, the DC will increase.
Okay.
Verbal, I believe, can still offer Flash of Genius as an advantage, as a reaction, unless Addoc can do the same.
I can do the same. Yeah.
Yeah. You won't get a stack, but either one of you can do it, so you'll definitely get the +5 on this roll.
I was gonna do Biotic Inspiration.
Okay,
right.
so you get a +5. What is your Bardic Inspiration? What do you do, sing, play, or say to Zadriel to inspire her?
I'm gonna walk up to Zadriel. I'm gonna look at her and go, you know what? This fire ain't shit compared to you. Just walk on right through to the other side. And I'm just gonna walk off.
And what is your inspiration die?
I think it's just a D6.
I think it's a D6 here because you're only like low level
Yeah.
bard. So you'll have a D6 to add to this roll. You do have an advantage from the chat.
Okay.
You also have a +5 to whatever you roll. So you prepare yourself. You won't know whether the DM will aid you in this until you cast it. But you prepare yourself. You sum up your radiant divine energy and cast again at obviously the 3rd level because it's the only level you have it at.
Yep.
So I need you to roll that intelligence check one more time.
Advantage.
So you
As she's doing.
you've got the advantage. Oh wow.
And
+5, which
D6.
makes it 11, and you've got a D6 as well.
So it's
17, that'll be. That's pretty much exactly what you needed. So it's hard. Like you start to cast spell and you think shit is not going to work, and you see it flicker for a moment, and then you fully release the spell, and you have to concentrate just that little bit longer. Unfortunately, you do not get a sense that your deity is able to aid you in this particular thing, but it seems to slowly fade and sift away, and the portcullis slowly lifts. You know from when you came through that this will not stay up for long. You have maybe a few minutes to get through before the portcullis and the magic reaffirms.
thank you, Addoc. But we have to move.
Horse, cart, let's go. So in that time, Fibber would have hitched the horse to the cart and brought it round with Timothy's help. Timothy is probably going to slow you down a little bit in the cart because he's relatively heavy. He's still only a medium creature. He's a large, so he will definitely weigh the cart down, which will slow it. Not too much, but it definitely will reduce your speed somewhat. But you all climb aboard. Who's driving the cart?
I vote Karnos.
This will require a animal handling for
I vote Karnos.
for whoever is going to drive.
I mean, I don't mind. I don't want to take a lead if someone else would like to drive the cart.
Okay, I strongly suggest Karnos.
This case seems awfully insistent that it is car.
I give the horse a pat on his neck and I'm like, shh, little buddy, you'll be right. You remember me from last time, don't you? You've had a good feed now. And I climb into the driving position if no one objects.
Horse snorts and shakes its head up and down as you guys clamber into the cart, and Karnos, you get into the driver's seat, if you will, and I need you to roll.
It's a bit cold.
Animal handling.
Yeah, I got a 7. Leather straps are a bit tight. I've been here for a while in the freezing.
Yeah, it's not. The horse doesn't respond at first. You give it a bit of an extra sort of G up and it starts to move forward. It's a little weird. The horse seems to be fighting you at some point. You're trying to keep it straight and it seems to be wanting to pull to one side. But it's moving. A little slower than you would like, but it's definitely moving. So you are now moving out from the tower area.
You need to say, Misa can help you with the warming up, Carnos.
Yeah. Fibble, that didn't sound like you at all. You normally say, yeah, that's right. You normally say, Misa say, you sir need warming up. That's. Can you do that again one more time for me?
No. I didn't notice that it was in the chat. I wonder who the hell you guys were talking to.
Yeah.
But now everyone can hear you.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll cast heat metal on Karnos to warm him up.
Nice.
I have a lot of metal on me.
He does. So, I mean, I'd say by now, Fibble's learnt to control it reasonably well. He can hold it at a particular temperature, not forever, but for a reasonable time. So he doesn't heat it to a point where it hurts, but it definitely warms you up.
And thanks, Zedriel, for affirming. That's how he talks.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
Never happened.
Oh, you wait till you see the
No,
VOD.
it never happened. I would not do that to Fibble. These guys would, not me. So, you are now moving away from the Selenka Pass. You're still on the mountain. It's still snowing lightly. The snowdrift is relatively deep in places, so it does slow you down, and you do have to correct the path of the horse on occasion to keep the cart on the roadway, which is not a huge roadway. It's only probably 12 feet wide at the widest, down to maybe 6 feet in some of the narrow places, which you have to slow down and maneuver a little bit. Timothy's weight, you can definitely notice on the cart. The timbers are groaning under the excess weight of this shield guardian. It has slowed you down, but not to a point where it's not to a point where you could walk faster. It's definitely faster than walking. So I think this is a good point. We can take a small break since Siddiq's only just walked in the door, I would imagine. So we'll take a short break, guys, so guys can get coffees, drinks. Mr. Stib can get himself a coffee if he needs one, and a little more relaxed before we get back into it. So we'll be back in 5, guys. Don't go anywhere. kind of stuff. All right, chat, we're back. Fibble is a little more comfortable now than he was before. We'll get right back into it. Thank you very much. First, we've got a couple of thanks yous before we get. So we've got Voivode coming in with a raid. I think he's taken off, had to go sleep, but coming with a raid, and Vampire Logan with a raid as well, and Dill Cripple with a host. So thank you for bringing your communities over to hang out with us tonight. Appreciate it very, very much. And obviously a big thank you to all the regulars that are coming back in tonight to hang out with us to continue this story. Episode 75 of our Curse of Strahd campaign. So we get an advantage for Stib in the chat. Look at that. Oh, my screensaver kicked in. So an advantage for you, Mr. Stib. So you are traveling down the mountain. It's going to take you a couple of hours to reach the base of the mountain and start to leave the snowy area. In the meantime, I will need everyone to make at least one Constitution save. You will all get Zadriel's bonus because you're all within 10 feet of Zadriel being in the cart. The only one that does not have to make it, obviously, is Timothy because he doesn't feel the cold. Carlos a natural 1, but with a +5 that is still 13. So you're good with a 13, just.
Yeah, I've got 26, so I think I'm good.
Yeah, I think you're
17.
good. 26, 17, 17, 13, and natural 20 from Skaters. Look at that. So you're all good. You're all. I mean, you're all feeling the cold, but it's not enough to make it uncomfortable. You travel that first hour without too many hassles. The second hour goes without incident, and you now find yourselves leaving the snow-covered areas of Salinka Pass. You continue traveling. I'm going to move our travel map up here so our viewers can see it here. You've traveled past Salinka Pass, over the bridge, and off the base of the mountain, and now into the more flat areas of the forests. Where else we got here? So the Barobian forests, you know that, looking at your map, Karnos, you know that you have the ruins of Berez almost directly to your north. Argenbostholt, the manor of the dragon, also further north than that. You know that you can stay on this road and follow this road. It'll take you through a series of foothills, not close to where you fought the druids, not too close, but you know it's going to circle around there, and you're going to head towards the Raven River, which you need to cross in order to get to Krezk. So for this next hour, I need all of you to make a perception roll for me, please. (22, 13, 8, 13).
I'm just busy driving the car in the cold.
No worries. It's getting warmer. Like the cold, it's not as cold. Like Barovia itself is cold and foggy anyway, but now you're off the mountain, it's definitely a lot warmer. Yes.
Would you like me to roll a disadvantage? I'd like to just be reading the book throughout this travel.
So you want to read the book for the travel? No worries, you can roll disadvantage, definitely. If you think you're occupied on other things. So just keep note of the hours that I mentioned, so you can mark that off your reading of the book. So far you've been traveling for about 2 hours. So around about 2 hours. So those of you above a 15, which I believe is only Skathis. Skathis, you would hear it at first. Cracking of branches and that off to the right hand side of the cart. You turn and look, and you see a figure tall, really tall, stocky figure stalking through the trees. You're not sure if it's keeping pace with you, but it's heading in a rough direction that the cart is traveling. It doesn't seem to be getting closer to the road. You can't really make out what it is. You know it's humanoid. You know it's quite tall, maybe 6.5, 7 feet tall. Looks like, from what you can tell, maybe it's very broad through the shoulders, and it's like lumbering through the trees.
So where would I be on the cart? Probably.
You're on the right-hand side of the cart towards the front. Probably,
Right.
you're all pretty close. It's not a big cart, so you're all fairly
Right.
sort of seated close
I
together.
tapped Karnos on the shoulder and point to the direction of what I saw.
I shouldn't really take my eyes off the road. It's dangerous.
I'm sure it'll be fine just for a couple of seconds.
Okay, and I look in the direction that he points briefly.
As you look over with your roll, you're not sure. You look over there and go, you don't see what he sees. You're not sure.
I don't. What are you trying to look at? Yes. Oh, that's lovely. Green trees in the dark mist. We've been seeing this the whole time.
What?
I turn to Zedriel and point over into the direction of what I saw, and then explain what I saw.
Is it a man? Maybe
Don't
it's
know what it is.
Maybe it's Casimir waiting for us outside. Or Strahd.
I think it's too big for Strahd.
Yeah, it definitely looked a lot wider through the shoulders than Strahd, from your recollection.
They look like one of those troll ice things that we were getting away from.
I'm not sure.
Not sure.
Well, just keep an eye on it and see what happens.
I'm gonna lift my head up from the book and just say, "It's probably a giant," and go back to the book.
So Zedriel, as you peer over to where Skathis sort of pointed out, you strain your eyes through the trees, and your roll wasn't as bad as Karnos's. It was 13. So now that it's been pointed out to you, you see a shadowy figure, and your estimation, it's definitely well over 6 feet tall. So it's probably a good 4 or 5 inches taller than Strahd. And definitely much larger. Like it's a hulking figure, and you can, now that he's been pointed out, you can hear the heavy footfalls, as it's probably, when you're looking at it, it's probably 15, 20 feet from you in the trees, but you can hear that sort of thud, thud, thud of its heavy footfalls. Again, it doesn't seem to be getting any closer. It just is walking in that general direction.
Are you able to get your owl to go see what that is over there in the trees?
Sure. It has no ID.
If it is within 90 feet, I would like to cast Hunter's Mark on it.
Okay.
Which is just going to give me advantage on perception. Like, kind of like I'm going to try and track it.
Okay.
Keep an eye on it.
Is there a save for it?
It is a concentration up to an hour. That's it.
Yeah,
So
but
no.
is it a save? Does the creature need to save?
No.
No, so there's no save, so you just mark it and concentrate on it for an hour. No worries. So, what else does that give you? It gives you advantage on
It gives
perception.
me an extra 1d6 damage to the target whenever I hit with a weapon, and I have advantage on any wisdom perception or wisdom survival check to find it.
Ah, okay, to find it, but not about what it is.
Yeah, not about what it is.
You generally know where it is, though, don't you? Within certain range.
Yeah, like I could probably just do another perception.
I mean, we could get you to roll a survival check to keep track of it, definitely. So you concentrate, you watch it. When it passes between two trees, you reach out and you cast Hunter's Mark. You now have a bit of a tether with this creature. Roll an insight check for me. We're gonna flavor this a little differently for Hunter's Mark. We're gonna get you to roll an insight.
No, 22.
That's pretty good. Your instinct, the moment you reach out and cast Hunter's Mark on it, it's moving with purpose. You can get a sense it's definitely moving in a specific direction. Doesn't seem worried about you at all. In fact, the impression that you get is that it is not hostile at all at this point.
Yeah. All right. With that, I will just quietly keep an eye on it. Then I won't say anything.
Okay. So, as you continue your journey and continue moving along the road, and you've traveled this road before. You know that the roads are reasonably not well traveled. The Vistani travel around these parts. Obviously, other people from other villages tend to take these roads as well. Eventually, after another couple of hours, you lose your hunter's mark on this creature, but the whole time the creature never gave the impression of hostility, and eventually you lost sight of it, and eventually the sound of its heavy footfalls did disappear. So you're pretty well done. So nothing really much happened. You do go back to hearing on occasion, however, as you are traveling now back in the forests of Barovia, on occasion the howling of the wolves can be heard, again off in the distance. Not serious, not close enough to be a concern, but you just every now and again, maybe once or twice every hour, you get the howl of the wolves, or you might even get a glimpse of a few wolves in the trees. But again, they don't seem overly concerned. You know that Strahd is using them to track you. This much you figured out a long time ago, so you are probably less concerned about them now than you were in the past, knowing that if they were going to attack you, they were going to attack you. If they're not attacking, then you know Strahd's keeping tabs, at the very least. Another couple of hours pass, and you now, through the trees on the right-hand side, you can see the ruins of Berez. The swamp where you fought and semi-defeated Bubba Saga and her living hut that rendered all of you unconscious. It was a struggle, but you managed. I need you all once again to make another perception check, Leos. We get into the second half of the day.
18.
Yeah, we're looking for 15. Is anyone over a 15?
19.
That still includes Ezreal's +5?
You add, that's a check.
only on
That's only for
saves, too.
saves, so this is just a
Okay.
check. So the +5 is for saves only.
Then it is a 12 me.
So all those over a 15 are the first to catch sight of it. Another wagon approaching. Not from in front, but from behind. Maybe you turned over your shoulder, or you heard the wheels clattering on the gravel road, but you turn and you see a covered wagon, brightly coloured materials that are on the covered top. You know that this is a Vistani Wagon. You've seen these before. It's about maybe 100 feet behind you. Not anyone over 18?
Yes.
Got Karnos and Zadriel. Zadriel, Karnos probably busy focusing on the road at this point. You probably heard it, and then you sort of glance back and see it. Zadriel, you would notice that it appears to be gaining on you slightly. You guys are traveling at a reasonable pace, but you're a little bit slowed because of obviously Timothy's weight. But it's definitely catching up. Like after a few moments, you watch it, and it's definitely getting closer.
Guys, you remember those people that sold us the fake potions? Yeah, they're behind us, I think. And they're gaining.
Are you sure it's the same people? It's not just another Vistani group?
At this
No,
distance,
I'm not
you can't
sure,
be sure.
but
Yeah.
I don't like them all the time. You want to try that fire thing again, Adok?
What if I head out from the books? I mean, yeah, I could, but what if they're, friendly or something? How far away are they, Mr. DM? Can I see? I'm gonna take a look.
You turn and look, and they look like they're probably about 80, 90 feet. They are slowly gaining, though. The longer you watch, they definitely start to... I mean, they are traveling a little faster than you, whether that's just because you have Timothy on board or whether they're purposefully trying to catch up to you. You're not entirely sure at this point.
Yeah,
You can see two humanoid figures sitting in the front of the wagon.
Alex going to do this. So I point at the two humanoid figures, and then he's going to go bang. He's going to cast message towards us.
Okay, what is your message?
All right, friend or foe. I would answer this very carefully if I were you.
Is that all you say?
Yeah.
You get and sort of what?
It's gonna shoot another message. No, friend or foe. I'm asking you if you are a friend or a foe.
There's a long pause, like there's a long wait, maybe 2 or 3 minutes before eventually you eventually get a response back. That depends on you and your friend.
Are you mouthing out loud? Or are you just like?
Yeah, definitely in my head.
Okay.
Then I'm gonna stop. Then I'm gonna turn around and be like, all right. So he says that it depends on us whether or not they are friends or foes to us.
Foes. They're foes.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean,
Well, if you don't just say we are friends straight away, it means you're foes.
well, I mean, maybe they've never seen us before. That could be new people that we have. I'll send it. Okay, who wants to send a message, and I'll send a message.
Ask if they want to give us some more of those wonderful potions, and if they say yes, they are the ones that give us those potions, and then you fireball.
Yeah, I'm with Zadriel. I lean over, looking back. I'm with Zadriel. Send them 2 messages: a fireball and then another fireball.
And then I'll fuck you.
Maybe
Wait, hang
Steve
on.
could drop one.
Wait, so you want me to ask
cast
them?
fireball.
All right, so
You gotta
multiple
cast
messages.
fireball.
First one.
Bill. No.
I'd never get up that high.
Oh, you don't
Do
have
they
R,
have it?
right? Okay.
Any more of those wonderful potions they sold us?
So I'm not sending a message about fireball. All right. Okay, I'm gonna send that message to them and go bang again, which I assume they're probably like 60 feet away now.
They're getting closer. They're probably closer to 60 sort of feet. You can see, like, now, you can see that you've got 2 male humanoids in the front. One looks quite a bit older. Like, you can see the white sort of scraggly hair out from under this sort of makeshift riding cap. Big scruffy white beard, and the other one looks a lot younger. Both dressed very colourfully, like the Vistani generally are. You don't recognise either of them yourself at this point. Zadriel's sort of looking forward. They don't look like the same ones that were in your previous encounter, but the wagon is very, very similar. So you send the message basically saying that, what was your message, sorry?
If they want to sell us any more potions.
You get a response back, we're always willing to sell anything to anyone. This is what we do here.
All right, fuck. Let's get it. All right, Cardinal, just pull over the goddamn cart. Like, let's just talk to him.
We've given too many chances in this place. The Vistani have not been our friends on more than one occasion. Am I right, Mr. Stibb?
Well, for once, yes.
I recommend we pull over to the side and travel at a slower pace. Let them pass us.
How about I get Timmy to step out and tip over their cart and we rob them?
Yeah, let them get close, dump to me on the front of their horses and crush them, and the cart will flip over and wheels will come flying off as it flips over and throws them from said cart.
That's a bit dark there, Carlos.
Are we not meant to be heroes, Carlos?
Yeah, you're heroes to the good guys, killing the bad guys.
They brought us here. They are not taking us back.
During this time, I'm actually pulling over and waiting for either Zedriel or Fibble to say slow down. I'm not actually slowing down.
So
I'm
you
just
you
pulling
move
to
over
one
to
side.
one side. No worries. By this time now, they're about 50 feet and still gaining. I mean, they're not rushing to catch up to you. So again, it's not an aggressive maneuver. They're not rushing to get within range of anything. They're just slowly gaining on you guys.
They're just moving faster than what we are.
Pretty much. And it's pretty obvious that they're traveling at a normal pace for them. The horse is not galloping or trotting. It's just at a walking pace. But because you have your shield guardian in the wagon, you are moving at a slightly slower pace to them.
Do we let them pass? Yeah, Agents of Strahd.
Kill them if they cause any hassles, I say. Let's just go with that.
Right.
So you slow to let them pass, or you just remain at your current pace and allow them to catch up and pass?
With Fibble saying kill them if they cause us any troubles, I think that's fair. I have to slow down if we want to do anything to them if they try.
You pull back on the reins and slow your horse down to about half pace.
I pull back on the reins and try and do a straight stop, and so they're gonna sort of.
Oh, you want to stop completely?
Yeah.
Okay.
As right as quick as I can. Yeah.
So you pull your horse up as quickly as you can. I mean, the horse is not an instant stop, obviously.
But no. But I'm reining them up real hard.
So you rein up your horse, and it whinnies as you pull back on the reins, and the bit sort of pulls back in its mouth.
Sorry, buddy. Sorry.
And you do come to a stop. Looking back, they don't seem to react. They continue moving forward. Within the next 2 or 3 minutes, they get into a almost level with you, and the passenger raises a hand in a friendly gesture, a friendly wave gesture. As the level forward, the gentleman slowly pulls the horses up and stops beside you. You'll need assistance, or are you okay?
I was letting you pass. You're going faster than us. It's just a narrow track.
Of course, appreciate. But if you need anything, we may offer help if you wish. Do you require assistance or aid? Or we do have items for sale, of course.
I just look to the others. I say nothing.
What do you say, Fibble?
Or maybe we trade. Maybe you have something you wish to trade. We trade.
No, we're good.
How much you want for big metal man? Good trade.
You don't have enough.
You don't know us very well. You know that.
I know exactly, and you don't have enough.
People, we need gems for Emily.
They don't have enough.
You want a gemstone, you say? For what exactly? You need we have plenty of gemstones. Find gemstones all over these lands.
I lean to who's the closest to me on the cart? How are they spread out?
Probably, I would like to say Skathis is probably the closest.
To me.
Because he's probably sitting directly behind you on the right. Zadriel's probably to your left a little bit further back. Then Adok and Fibble and Timothy's sitting right on the back.
I lean to Skathis and I whisper, I wonder how much gems they have in their cart right now. That was at a whisper to Skathis only,
no
as best as I could.
But we offer good price for metal man if you wish to sell.
I don't.
Sorry.
I don't want to. It's Timmy. I'm not selling Timmy. I'd rather sell Scathus.
What
What
is that?
about
What
mattress?
is Scathus? I don't know what you mean.
Yes,
We
we don't know either.
Oh, it is person. I thought you were talking about maybe another automaton. So we have no need for it.
Well, actually, technically, yes, Scathus would be an automaton.
Really?
Yeah.
What is Scathus? Where is the Scathus? You show me. We
Is
make offer.
this dude here? You put food in this end, and shit comes out the other.
That is people. We're not that stupid. Good joke though. Appreciate it. You're a funny little man.
You have no idea.
So, you do not wish to trade or wish to purchase from us, then we will be on our way.
Okay, bye-bye.
Have a good day. And he giddy ups the horse and starts slowly pulling out, moving forward, and passes you guys. I saw that trash. And Karnos.
No, I'm just reading chat. Sorry.
You know, if we
That's also what I was doing.
if we fireball the wagon, we could use that extra horse to pull Timothy. Which is a thought.
So they're slowly pulling away, creating a larger gap. 15 feet, 20 feet, 30 feet,
Do it.
40 feet.
People, ignite!
What?
Ignoramus! Ifritus! Fuck! Shoot it!
50 feet.
I start moving the horses. Like, hey, gee up, come on. So they don't
What?
get too far.
Fireball!
What? Why would... No, we said we would attack them if they were a pain in the ass.
They
Why would
are
we
a
attack...
pain in the ass! Do it!
What?
Ad hoc?
All right.
They're still, even though Karnos, you've now started moving forward, they're still breaching that gap. They're extending that lead because they are still moving a little faster than you. It has slowed down they're now sort of 55 feet and eventually 60 feet out in front. So if you're going to do something, now's the time.
Wait, so do you want me to firebolt them or fire sphere explosion them like I did before to the rabbit?
They are agents of Strahd. Do what you want.
All right. Fire sphere explosion it is.
You're going to cast a fireball?
Yeah. I have 150 foot range. Yeah.
Right, so I need to make a dex save for these guys.
At 4th level, by the way.
4th level, no worries. So,
Trying to think of how to save the horse, but there's no way. I don't. Think
unfortunately,
we can do this.
the horse is going to be engulfed in this. The horse doesn't get a save, unfortunately, nor does the wagon. What is your spell DC?
It is 16.
Yeah, they fail. You reach out, you cast, you weave your fireball magic. The seed of fire starts to grow in your hands, and then you fire it out in front of you, and it surges forward, straight line towards this cart, and then you all watch as it just is engulfed in a ball of flame. The wagon then picks up pace as the horses bolt. It was a double horse wagon. The horses bolt on. The wagon is on fire. The horses are on fire. You watch as it takes off, heading in a dead straight direction, even though there's a curve coming up in the road ahead. One body you see fall off the side of the wagon in flames, rolling around and screaming. You can hear the cries of pain from where you are. Shortly thereafter, the passenger jumps off the other side, again engulfed in flames. He's screaming. You can hear those cries of pain. You not only hear the cries of pain of the two drivers, but you also hear the cries of many more, maybe 3, 4, 5 more voices coming from in front of you. Not male voices, one sounds awfully high pitched to be a male. Two even higher pitched still. Eventually the cart comes to a stop as the horses succumb to the flames and injury. The screaming stops. The wagon is still alight and smouldering and burning. The fabric is burnt away and dripping. The steel that's holding them together is there, but the wagon itself is still on fire as you draw closer. Get closer and closer still. As you get within sort of 25 feet, you can smell the smell of burnt flesh. It's thick in the air. The smoke is billowing from the wagon. You pass the first body. Looks like, as sort of get closer, looks like it might have been the old man. He's scorched all up one side. Your hair's all singed, and he definitely died a horrible, painful death. Those who are on the opposite side will see lying in the grass, thick grass, and it's probably the feet of the other. Again, it's still smouldering from the fireball. There's no need to roll damage because these guys had low HP. So at 4th level, you would have done more than enough damage.
I did 38. That's
yeah, you would have done more than enough to pretty much just about kill everyone in this wagon. As you draw closer to the wagon, however, again, smelling that smell of burnt flesh, not just human flesh, but the smell of horse flesh, which I'd say probably Karnos has probably eaten, and so has Addox. It probably smells kind of tasty. But both horses are dead. You draw side by side the wagon, which is now starting to just smolder. Who is going to look in the wagon?
I will.
Skathis, you stand. No need for a perception check. As you stand, I need you to make a wisdom save, Skathis. You fail, and what you see not only sickens you to your stomach, you panic. You become angry. Who or what you direct that anger at this point is up to you. You know Addox was the one that cast the fireball, but was also on instruction from your friends. What you see are the bodies of what looks to be 2 women and 3 children lying in the back of the wagon. Seems this wagon was... There's items in there too. There's a couple of small chests that are charred and some sacks that have been burnt. But this appears to have been a family moving along this road.
So in Addox's direction, I turn and cast Thunder Wave.
Okay, what does Thunderwave do?
Con save, hit DC, con save.
Is it a cone or a target?
It's
a square cube in front of him.
Cube in front of you? So it'll get Fibble and Timothy, who are also in the back of the cart.
This is on the cart too, right?
If it's on the cart, it's probably going to engulf the entire cart, I would imagine. Because it's not just from... Is it from the front of you? Like
it's a cube from the front of him.
So from him. So he's turned away from you, Karnos, so you're good. I'd say Zadriel's probably okay as well. So Fibble, Addox, and Timothy will have to make this save. What's the con save?
I'm sorry, but I'm angry.
I said that how you play it's up to you, but you are... Definitely this is a triggering event for you because of your past. So what's the con save on that?
13.
13.
Is it plus Zadriel's 5?
You will get the +5 because you are all within that sort of enclosed space. Cool. So 17 for Addox. Fibble gets a 27, so you're good. Timothy.
Half 9.
So you're only going to take half damage, and you will not get forced back on either, do you? If I remember rightly.
No.
I'll make Timothy save. Although you have access to his stuff. He gets an 8, he fails, he'll take full damage. It doesn't really matter, he'll regenerate that back pretty quickly. So, what else happens?
In addition, unsecured objects that are completely within the area effect are automatically pushed 10 feet away.
I don't think you guys had anything in the wagon with you. It was just your items, whatever you guys had on you. So, as Skathis turns and looks intently at you, Adok, and just releases this thunderous energy in your direction. Both Adok and Fibble and Timothy all take damage. You guys that saved only take half damage, so it'll be 4 thunder damage.
And directly after that, I'll lay into Adok.
Just fists, unarmed strikes?
Yep.
So I'll give you your initial attack. That was kind of your action. So I'll give these guys a reaction first before you attack, and we'll see what will resolve that.
I will use my reaction to protect with my shield.
So you're going to move in between?
To, impose disadvantage on Skathis.
Okay, so you move yourself. As soon as the thunder is released, you can see that Skathis has intent in his eyes. He is angry. He is gritting his teeth. His eyes are blazing in hatred and anger towards Adok right now. Zadriel, you move. Put yourself in between him and Adok, shield raised. Karnos, what do you do?
I am driving the cart still.
You guys have pulled up beside this thing, so you would have stopped by now.
Oh, stop.
Yeah. Well, would you have stopped? I mean, or would you have slowed enough to look inside?
I was slowing down to get around the rubble.
Yeah, I'll leave that up to you. Whether you stopped or not is up to you.
I would have slowed down as he was looking in because we would have been getting around this cart, but I don't think I would have stopped.
Okay.
So at this point, I'm carting and I hear boom, and I sort of bounce in the cart. But other than that,
so
no.
you continue to drive, so you're going to do nothing.
Yep.
So, Adok, Fibble, and even Timothy, I'll give Adok Fibble a chance to maybe give Timothy an instruction here as well. So, Adok, you have been struck by this thunder damage as you can see the intent on Skathis. This is an intent you've not seen in his face before. He's almost frothing at the mouth. He's that angry. What do you do?
Invisibility.
Adok vanishes before your eyes, Skathis, as Zadriel moves and puts herself between you and him. Fibble, what do you do?
I would actually look in the cart myself and then go, well, fuck.
That's a typical Fibble response. And nothing else? You're going to give Timothy an instruction? You would have only taken half that damage too, because Timothy would have taken the other half.
Yeah, I took the 2 points of damage. And Timothy took the 11 instead. Yeah, but Timothy would just be sitting there looking.
Okay,
like
no
Timothy.
worries. And anything else you're going to do? I mean, a free action to speak. You're not going to react. You're not going to attack back or defend yourself in any way.
No. Well, if he does it again, and to me, it's a different story. But yeah, I would understand. You know,
I think
there.
Yeah, I think you'd probably notice that it wasn't directed at you. You just were caught in a bit of a splashback there. His intent was definitely aimed at Adok, 100%. So, with Zadriel standing between you and your quarry, Skathis, I'll leave it up.
On that shield.
I'll leave it up to you to how you react to it. You're still angry. You're very triggered.
I'm laying into the shield.
What the fuck is wrong with you, Skathis?
We killed innocent.
We didn't kill innocent anything.
Look in the cart.
I look in the cart. Is it gone yet or not?
No,
We were passing.
Well, probably by now you'd be able to see what he saw. There's definitely the bodies of women and children in the cart, but you're slowly passing as Karnos hasn't stopped.
What else do you want to do, Skathis? You want to feed his dogs, polish his boots, take care of his little children, babysit for a while? They are Strahd's minions.
They were innocent.
How innocent are they? Taking people from all over like you and killing them off for fun.
Yeah, I agree with Zadriel. They pulled us from our place. I mean, Fibble's got a son, right?
Fibble has a son and a wife.
Zadriel has a family. We've heard about that.
with that, I just clam up, hop off the cart, and start walking in the direction we're heading.
I reach in the space around me for Anak to try to put him in my pack.
I'd say you'd find it. I mean, it's not a big space, so you'd eventually find him, even though he's invisible. You would probably poke him in the eye or in the ear or something first, but but eventually you'd definitely find him, and he clambers into your pack. So because you're traveling at the speed you're traveling, it is faster than an average walk, but Skathis does move quicker than the average person, so he still keeps up somewhat. Every now and again he would probably have to dash forward to keep up if he wished, but he jumps off the side of the wagon, not saying a word further, and just walks beside the wagon. How long you do that, Skathis, is up to you.
It's gonna be for a long while.
How long does your invisibility last, Adok? The concentration until you drop it?
It is concentration. But as soon as he gets off the cart and I get poked in the eye by Zadriel, I'll drop it.
No worries. So you continue forward. Didn't want to search the wagon at all?
Anak, there was some treasure chest or some chest or something in that wagon back there. I looked over.
Yeah, right. Because that makes sense, yeah. Do you not see what he just tried to do to me? He's outside the cart. You want me to go outside the cart and have a look in the other cart with him out there? I don't think so.
He's
We will.
walking.
All right,
But
then,
you
I'll
want
do
me
it.
to jump in the other cart? I'll fucking jump in the other cart. But
I
you know,
slow our cart down to a stop
that-
again.
You're going to slow
that
to a
would
stop
be
this time?
robbing.
Okay, so you slow to a stop. Skathis, do you stop or do you continue to walk?
Robbing
Continue to walk.
Okay.
for gems for Amelia's resurrection to defeat Strahd.
I mean, technically as well, it's not robbing because no one owns it. I did kill him. I burnt him to death. So it's any man's, free sort of game.
Well, on that note, then, yeah, why the fuck not? Yeah, jump across.
So you have travelled a little bit further forward. Skathis continues to walk. Karnos, you'd see him sort of pass the horse, and continue to walk forward. Who's going back to have a look in the other wagon?
Apparently Fibble.
Fibble, and anyone else, or just Fibble?
No, not me.
Okay, so just
Yeah,
Fibble.
Carlos is sitting here as well, so.
So you've got to go back about 15 or 20 feet to get back to the location of the other cart. The smell is pretty strong, so the smell of burnt flesh is pretty pungent. I'd say Fibble's probably used to the smell of burnt flesh during his many experiments. He's probably burnt his own flesh many times, so that smell doesn't probably bother him too much. So you climb up on the wagon, and would you have said, outside of general what's happening within Barovia, how many dead bodies has Stibble probably seen in his life? Like, as in
Well,
semi-innocent bodies, should we say?
Counting that cow.
Counting the
wasn't
3-legged cow.
innocent. It deserved to have its leg blown off.
Nothing's innocent in this place.
Nothing's innocent. It's completely, yeah. Well, yeah, he probably would have.
I mean, he's been around because he's pretty old, isn't he? Like,
yeah, he's 150.
okay, so he would have seen his fair share of death. So I don't think the bodies.
140, sorry.
I don't think the bodies would phase him too much.
No,
The
and
bodies of
also
children might twinge a little bit because he has a child of his own, maybe.
Yeah, probably. But the adults, and at the same time, the adults have pissed him off a couple of times in
Pretty
the
much.
past
I
by
mean,
ripping him off.
Exactly. So they are Vistani. That's probably the mitigating factor here, is that they are definitely. It was obvious that they were Vistani. So I'd say that you don't have too much of an issue moving bodies to see what is underneath them. As you can see that they are lying on top of some of these things. So I need you to roll investigation for me as you start going through the contents of this wagon.
That would be a 15.
15, that's not bad. The first little trinket box you come across, you find 2 pots of the alchemist fire. You know what it is because you have seen it. You've got, I think you've had some before, or still have some. You have 2 vials of alchemist fire.
Awesome. I'll add that.
You've got 3 vials of what you determine to be antitoxin, which will cure a poison effect or the poisonous condition.
Okay.
You also find a container holding 7 potions, which to you look like healing pots, but on closer inspection, with your skill in alchemy, you know that they're not healing pots. These are the healing pots that you previously bought that weren't healing pots.
They're sugar water.
Pretty much. Again, not the same wagon, definitely not the same people, but you get the impression that Vistani have a habit of selling people not quite wares to make some extra gold. The next container you find houses about 300 gold pieces, from what you can tell. There's scattered coins. There's a few silver pieces in there as well, but for all intents and purposes, 300 gold. The last small chest is locked.
Well, I pull out Eliza and start picking the lock.
Roll your lock picking,
which is
D20 plus Dex.
Sleight of hand.
Yeah, sleight of hand. I mean, obviously, if you're proficient, it'll already be added. 13.
No, I'm not proficient, but 13.
Okay, so 13. So not proficient. That's fine. You've still got the tools. And do you not get a bonus if you're using tools as an artificer?
Yeah, I think I'll get my proficiency bonus for using
what's
tools.
Your proficiency on that?
+4, so
So 17.
18?
17. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
17, I mean, a 13 probably would have done it, but a 17 makes it a little easier to work the lock and pop it. The top of the chest swings open, and inside, you, with an estimation of your dueling abilities as someone who knows duels, without spending time, you can't be 100% sure, but you estimate there could be around 3,000 to 4,000 gold's worth of gemstones in this particular chest.
Okay. I would ask Timmy to come over and get Timmy to pick up that chest
No worries.
transfer it to our chest.
No problem.
Well, our cart.
No worries. It is done. You now have a chest of gemstones worth approximately 4,000 gold. So again, without spending the time to properly value them, it's an estimation at this point.
Hey, Fubble.
No.
I hand him the bag of holding while I'm driving. I sort of unsatchel it from me and hand it to him and say, put the gems in there, it'll be safer, right? The chest could be taken by anyone.
Yeah, okay. And I try to put the bag of holding over the chest.
It'll work.
Oh, okay.
It'll fit. It's not a big chest, not like a big one. It's like a small chest. It's big enough to fit in the bag. I mean, it's a bit of a squeeze, but it manages.
There you go.
So, with that, you return back to your wagon. You start moving again. Scathus has gotten maybe 30 or 40 feet ahead of you guys. You will catch him very slowly. If you wish to try and pick up the pace to catch up with him, you can. But at your normal walking speed with Timothy aboard, you will catch him if he remains just at a steady walking pace. But it'll take a little while. Scathus, now that you're 30 or 40 feet out in front by yourself, you've had a little bit of time. You start to calm somewhat. Your anger subsides to a certain degree. I will allow you to play this out how you see fit, of course, because it is your character. Based, obviously, you run through your head the past runs through your mind several times. The burning of the monastery, the monks that you couldn't save, the ones that were killed inside the chapel that could not get out. But then you also remember the words of Asmodeus, saying he was the one that set the fire. And that with that, I would say you would probably understand that there was no way they could have got out if he was responsible. You also probably realize by now that you were not responsible for that fire, based on what he has told you. So with that, it was 3 to 4,000, not 4 to 5. Nice try, Adok. So I'll leave that with you, Scathus. You can deal with that how you wish moving forward. Is there anything that you want to do now that you're out in front of the rest of the group, however?
No, now that I've calmed down, I'll slow down and I'll just walk behind the cart instead, with my head low.
Okay, so you're not going to look up at your other companions. You're just going to hold your head low, hood up, I guess.
Yep.
And just slowly keep pace with the carriage. No problem. So you guys continue along your journey, eventually coming to the first set of foothills.
As we do, Adok is going to look at Scathus. And he's going to cast message. And you got to get Adok's voice in your head. You know, Scathus, my friend, if it makes you feel better, I didn't have souls. And they're just going to be reborn and stuck here anyway, so it don't really matter. Just being honest, you can do whatever you want. Kill anyone. Nothing is real. Think about it that way. Next time, when you do want to use Thunderwave, take a lesson from me. I'll show you how a real spellcaster does it, yeah?
How does Scathus react?
Adok's on my back, isn't he?
Yes, he's on your pack.
Oh, fuck.
You're muted, Scathus.
I look up from having my head low. I look straight at Adok and just glare at him.
I would say you shoot him the devil's glare, shall we say. It is very poignant, Adok. Not unlike what you saw when he attempted to blow you off the back of the wagon with Thunderwave. I would say roll intimidation for me, Scathus.
$19.
I'll let Adok
And-
decide how he reacts to that.
And invisibility.
Well played, well played. I dare say Scathus, after the visibility kicks in, just turns back and goes back to walking beside the cart. No problem. So you travel for maybe an hour like that. Does anyone else attempt to talk to Scathus in that time? He's keeping pace with the wagon. He hasn't said anything to anyone else, but he just remains walking with his head down, hood up, remaining quiet.
After an hour of walking, I will kind of just lean with my hand outstretched to see if he takes it.
Scathus?
We're all in this together. Come on.
I take Zadriel's hand and climb up.
I was half expecting you to take a hand and pull her out of the wagon.
So I'd put it in chat, but yeah, Fibble would be flicking the gold coins at Adok, one gold coin at a time. even when he's invisible, just flicking in his general area to see if it actually if he's catching them or not.
You'd probably get a couple. The first couple will probably bounce off his head before he realizes what's going on. I would say. Then yeah, you'd see them. After that, the first couple would sort of go ting 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 ting, and then he'd realize what you're doing, and the next one disappears. The next one you ping at him disappears.
Yeah, just the gold. I'll keep the silver, and I'm going to give that.
Okay,
to
so there was
charity when we get to
approximately
there.
300 gold. So we'll say 300 gold, and it would have been about 50 or 60 silver.
Yeah. So when I get to town, well, we're going to the church, right?
You're heading towards Krezk. Vallaki, you know, is still a dead wasteland because it pretty much was razed to the ground by you assume Strahd and his men. But with Karnos's visions that he's been having, your destination is Krezk, which is another village, and it does have an abbey up there as well.
All right, so I'd actually keep 50 gold plus the 50 silver.
Yep.
And flick
250
coins at Adok.
Adok, roll me just a straight just a dex check. Add your proficiency because you are a merchant, and I dare say you're pretty good at catching coins.
Roll a annoyance check. How annoyed are you?
Yeah, well, I mean, the first few definitely hit him, but after that, I'd say he'd be catching them pretty well. So, a dex check with your proficiency, Adok, please.
Muted.
Anytime soon.
Oh my god, 22 plus 4, 26.
26. You got no problem. You catch probably 230 of these coins. You do get hit by the occasional one. One probably strikes you in the teeth, tings off your teeth. You probably get one in the eye at one point. Couple go just in the bag at your feet, and a couple do hit the bag and ting down and sort of scatter down into the bed of the carriage. Whether you decide to jump down and get those or not is up to you. Skathis at this point probably takes no notice of what's going on. He's still just sitting. I'd say you're just sitting, head down, facing forward, or whatever way you're facing.
Yeah, head down, facing forward. Well, facing to the side, whatever it is.
So Skathis is still very much almost back to what he was when you guys first met him. Just very withdrawn, not speaking. Even if there is conversation, he doesn't participate. Hood is up and low over his face, and he's just head down. So with that, you continue your journey. As you start to reach the base of these foothills, Karnos and I'd say Zadriel as well. Zadriel probably more so. You've been keeping an eye on your shield. You guys can see the skyline. You know it's the day's drawing in. You know you're getting close to that time of the day where you're going to have to stop at some point and camp. Roll a survival check to see if you remember where you guys camped with Casimir when you first came this way. You can all roll it, or you can have one person roll at advantage. Again, we're looking at a DC 15.
Not me.
So Karnos, Fibble with 16 and 17 respectively. Skathis, I would say with your head down, you wouldn't even be interested in what's going on. So your role we won't take into account. Adok, I'd say up to you. I mean, you're invisible. You could be reading your book still. Or counting gold. Whichever you wish, whichever's probably your fancy at the moment.
I'd probably just put the gold away because I can at night. And just keep reading the book. Yeah.
Keep reading the book. So I'll say you won't have to make the roll either. So between Karnos and Fivelstib, you guys remember roughly where you guys had camped the first time you came through this way with Casimir, and it was at the western side of the base of these foothills. There's a small spot which has a small freshwater river nearby. It's not on the map because it's like a mountain runoff, but it's and the water's fresh enough to drink, and you got flat enough ground to put some tents and a bit of tree cover for a bit of a windbreak. So Karnos, I dare say you would head for that spot, knowing that the sun is starting to go down, and you probably need to get yourself to a camp and to organise watches for the night, because you know you're going to be out here in the at risk, obviously
Yeah,
at
mate.
night.
I make a comment to Fibble. I'll be like, Fibble, that's roughly where we camped last time with what's his name, the Vistani guy.
Casanova,
Yeah.
Casablanca,
Kashmir.
Cashmere.
Yeah.
Isn't that an animal?
No, it's a nut. Cashmere nut.
Oh, cashmere nut.
Yeah, something like that.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, it looks about right, give or take.
Oh, I'll head that way. I'm pretty sure that's it there. And I sort of steer the horses in the easy enough direction to get us to where we were.
No worries, and you do so within a space of about 25 minutes. You reach the spot where you're pretty sure, and it looks familiar. You even find the remnants of the fire that either whether it was one you guys set on use or whether it was someone else, but there's remnants of a fire around this area. So you pull the horses up, or the horse up, come to a stop, and you then organize yourselves ready for the evening. You set tents, you probably unhitch the horse, tie him to a tree, organize some grass feed for the horse.
Just one or two horses? I can't remember.
Just one for this carriage.
Do we ever name this horse?
Horsey, horse, the horse.
Oh,
The
Steve?
third.
was the horse Steve?
I thought there was a Steve somewhere.
I
feel like
I feel like Steve died a long time ago.
Yeah, I think
Steve
Steve
too.
got eaten.
I think Steve was right at the start of the campaign, and I'm pretty sure he got eaten.
I like Kit.
Okay, Ket. Well, I'm gonna cast create food and water, which will feed us and Ket food.
Will.
Sounds
So-
good to me.
And then I'm gonna go up to Timmy, and I'm gonna touch him, and cast a spell, which won't actually activate, but he will store.
You will what now?
I've just cast.
Oh, you're gonna store a spell on him. Okay.
Yeah, store the spell in him.
Okay. Which I know you can do, which is really cool. So with that, you eat, you drink. Horse eats because there's plenty more than enough food to feed the horse, and set a fire. Obviously, no need for survival checks on over this. You've done this dozens and dozens of times since you've been here. You set up your tents or bedrolls. You set up the campfire, get it going. You organise wood enough for the evening, and you've got a few hours before you need to sleep. It's up to you what you do at this point.
Maybe we should. I'm looking at Scafus when I say this. Maybe we should all have a bit of a sit-down chat about the passing events of today. Get everyone's feelings on it, right? You know, like I know sometimes some of us make decisions and others aren't happy with those decisions, but as a group, we should probably learn the feelings of the others amongst us. You know, discipline our souls so we can overcome our failings within ourselves, and then it won't threaten the group. How's that sound?
Who the fuck are you?
Yeah, I'm just gonna be. Adam's gonna be staring at Carlos. Mouth open.
With what Karnos just said, I'll reply, I will fight with you, but I don't have to talk to you.
I mean, you kind of do have to talk to us. I
And
get
that's all
Zone
I
of
say.
Truth. I'm gonna get Zone of Truth down. Poof.
Oh yeah.
Just to be safe. Which is a charisma?
Is the one thing with Zone of Truth though, doesn't compel anyone to answer.
Yeah, it's up.
It compels them, if they answer, they must tell the truth.
Yeah.
So you can roll a save. Anyone
you
who
want.
chooses not to make the save will automatically fail, obviously.
It's a charisma save, you said, eh?
Yeah.
And what's your spell set? 17 just DC, so yeah.
Oh,
Karnos
I'll be telling the
fails.
truth.
Skatus fails. What's the save? So you guys all get +5 to this as well. So 13, 12, 10, still fails. 18 succeeds. Adok, you're good. And Fibble, you're just going to ignore the save.
Oh yeah, I don't care. I'll tell the truth. People don't like it
Zadriel,
when I
are
tell
you
the
going
truth.
to? Are you going to make the
Yeah.
save, or are you going
I'm
to?
just gonna tell the
Gonna
truth.
tell the truth. So out of that, Karnos and Skatus, if you do say anything, it must be the truth. Although you are not compelled to speak, however.
And I stick by my last statement. I just won't talk.
Don't talk. Okay.
Why would you be for Strahd against us, though, Skatus? That makes no sense. He killed Emilia.
Zadriel, can you command him to talk?
Well,
Yeah, okay, yeah.
actually, technically,
Is
we
before,
killed
before we go down
Emilia.
that, I mean, is Zone of Truth? Zone of Truth's not concentration, though, is it?
It's not a
No.
concentration,
So
no.
yeah, you're good. So you could if you wanted to.
Technically, we killed Emilia.
That is true. We did not
Feeble?
aid her in time.
That's not helpful, Feeble.
But,
Wait,
but he's
you're
right.
the numbskull that casts Zone of Truth.
Call me a numbskull again, and I will show you what a skull that is numbing with my hammer.
I know what a numbskull is because I've been hit on
Clearly
the
you
head
do.
enough.
You look in the mirror.
Come on,
Why you
guys.
get the fuck your head?
Let's get on the same page here. Actions over words, be known by our glorious deeds, not just rambling
Hey,
argument.
that wasn't really a glorious deed, what we just did. I'm sorry.
Skatus,
Which
talk. Cast command. This is a wisdom
What's
save.
the wisdom save? Okay. What's this? DC 17, I believe, as well.
17.
No,
hang on.
you are compelled now to talk, and when you do speak, you must tell the truth.
Now, inspiration's D10, isn't it?
It is.
Even if I get a 10, I'm not going to make it.
Nope.
yes, I love this game.
Do I get the +5 advantage as well?
Oh,
Or
you
is
do.
that
It's
just-
still a failure, though. I mean, a D10 could potentially help you there. You got
Alright,
it's an
I'll-
11 with the +5. I'm not sure that
Alright,
Zadriel can choose whether that is active or not, because technically you are still an ally within 10 feet. So you're gonna
I'll
roll
do
your
it.
D10. Okay, roll your D10.
Yeah.
I mean, you're looking at a pretty decent roll. Yeah, no, you still have to talk. I'm sorry. You are compelled to speak, and in your compulsion to speak, you must speak the truth.
Love it.
So what was the question?
I was saying you can't possibly be for Strahd on this. You have
I'm
to
not-
stick with us.
I am not for Strahd. As I said, I will stick with you. I will fight for you, but I will not speak anymore.
Why?
We kind of have to, because you're compelled to.
I just ignore him. I like, why?
What we did was wrong.
What Strahd does is wrong. Sometimes we have to do stuff for the greater good. They would teach their children to take us and kill us.
The children are innocent.
Are they? Really?
They are raised to do what the rest of Vistani are doing, Scafus. Unfortunately, Zadriel has a point.
The children are the innocent. We must protect the children.
We will be dead if we protect every child of the parents that are trying to kill us.
Yes, Goblin Guy.
Just, I guess, a metaphorical question. What exactly are we protecting of the children?
Their innocence.
Yes, but what exactly is that?
I would actually like to point out in this zone of truth, this is actually Scafus's fault.
Those children are long gone.
Wait.
What?
So-
What is my fault?
Yeah, whoa. Hang on. Scafus. All right. So you need to protect the innocence of the children, yet you cannot quantify what said innocence is. So therefore, what are you
adult.
actually protecting? You don't really
Adult.
know, do you? No, I'm just saying, like, he just got no idea.
Smaller
what he's doing.
words.
I think as a
Smaller words.
religious person, I think he is talking about their souls.
Right, there we go. Souls. Is that what you mean, Scafus?
I think they're
Yes.
all arseholes.
Great.
Yes,
Well, what did I
they
say
are.
to you before? Yeah, okay. Yeah, but they've got no souls, Scafus. They're, the minions of Strahd. No, they don't.
Look,
Nothing.
Technically,
I
if you
think-
want to look after their souls, Scathers, what you actually want to be doing is killing Strahd, because that will release their souls. Because if they have actually died here once, they would be like Emilia and doing that stupid march towards his stupid castle every fucking night. So, I'm just saying, it's not 100% nice, but they are a bunch of assholes.
You should be protecting the innocent souls of the children that are about to be brought to this land when they grow up by them.
Yeah, by the Vistani children, specifically. Vistani children.
Or-
Bring them in.
The children that are actually in the towns that are just trying to live their day-to-day life without being assholes.
I can understand your anger, Scafus. It's not a nice thing to do, to kill children. I was not, was not aware there were children in the cart, but I did lean over and say to you, "Hey, do you think there's gems or something in that cart?" That was my trigger for you to have a look in the cart while they were stopping and check it out, and you didn't. Therefore, we did not find out that there were children and women in that car. So, ergo, became on you as well, as much as the rest of us.
Couldn't have, looked in the,
words.
couldn't have looked in the cart anyway because it was covered over.
Let's not.
And
Yeah,
that is
who
why I
cares?
burnt it off. That is why I burnt it off, so that we could have a look in the cart.
I thought he had like demon vision where you could see through things.
I think
Do
Zone
you?
of Truth gives me a headache to cast. Oh.
Yes.
I mean, why do you, a tiefling, of all things, have got an issue with killing children? I mean, hell, I've had some to eat. They taste good.
That's just wrong, Harold. I'm
Isn't
sorry.
your father something bad anyway?
And I walk off.
I'm going to cast message.
How
You know, you
long does
realise
Zone
I've
of
got-
Truth and Command? How long do those spells last? I think Zone of Truth's like 10 minutes.
for Zone of
And
Truth.
Command is like a minute.
I think
Or-
command's like 6 seconds.
It's like 6 seconds. So yeah, so he didn't have to probably speak the after the first 6 seconds, but that was
But we
kind of
got
cool.
him going. We
We
got
got,
him.
yeah, it's all good. We'll roll with it. But he does eventually stand up and walks away from the fire in the camp once again. I mean, in what state is Skaith at this point? Is angry, annoyed, just disappointed, upset? I mean, how does he get up and walk away? Frustrated?
Frustrated.
I
Yeah,
would-
definitely frustrated.
Yeah, I would imagine he'd probably stand and sigh and just turn and slowly walk away. Zedra.
As he's walking away, I will guilt trip say, I gave everything I had to make sure you could live another day.
Nice.
Just remember that, friend. And that's all I say.
Scathus, with that remark, I think you'd fully understand what she's getting at, like 100%. It would definitely strike a chord with you because you, especially with the conversations you've had with Asmodeus, you would realize that first time she brought you back, she definitely would not have been able to the first time, and the second time, it definitely didn't kill her, but it was not pleasant, and it took a lot out of her. Like the connection that you had with her at that point was a strong connection, and you know that it was also very difficult and very painful for her. So it probably does resonate with you a little bit.
Okay, hang
If
on,
not
give me a
more.
sec. Karnos, are your swords by your side or something like that?
My sword is by my side, my axe is on my back. And my throwing axes are on these 2 cross leathers at my front.
Are they easy accessible?
Yes, they are. I am a fighty type chap, Eddie.
I mean, I think I get where you're going. They're definitely accessible to you if you were wanting to try and grab them. Whether you could or not is a different story.
Hang on. Nope. I'd like to take a dash action towards Karnos, pick up take one of the axes, and attempt to go to Zadriel and hold it out in front of her and say, "Kill me and get it over and done with." Then.
Okay, so you're gonna. That's going to be a pretty quick. Yeah, it's going to be a pretty quick movement. The axes are on the front of his. He's got like a harness on the front which they're sort of attached to almost, like it's like a leather sort of slot that it sticks in. And he pulls it out and uses it. I would say you'd probably be able to reach over him and grab it out and step forward. I would give you a chance to react, Karnos, as he grabs it and steps forward towards Zadriel. Then you'd probably see him hold it out like non-aggressively and say what he says. You at this point would have been able to stand up and maybe reach out to grab him, maybe.
I feel like just dashing at me to grab a weapon, I would feel...
He's coming from behind you. You probably wouldn't see it initially, I would imagine. Well, coming from the side, possibly. So let's do this. Roll a d6. Odds he's coming from behind. Evens, you can see him coming at you.
Odds from the side.
So you probably are not able to see him coming at you, but you would definitely feel him grab at the axe on your chest and pull it out of its sheath, and then step forward past you. So I'd give you a reaction in that moment.
Okay.
Skathis, you'll probably still get to say what you say, holding it out, even if Karnos grabs you. You'd still get to say it, but might be a bit of a tussle in the meantime.
Yes, as he grabs it and takes it, moving towards Zadriel, I'm going to hook the sunsword and try and cut his hand off.
Okay. Easily enough done to draw the sunsword. You're proficient enough to draw it. Roll to hit.
I am also going to use one of my fighter points, superiority die, disarm as a, because I'm going to cut his hand off.
Well, that would disarm him anyway, so I don't even think you need to use disarm. If you hit him, you're going to do some damage.
True that.
I got it. Disarm. I get
Natural
it.
20.
A natural 20. You easily, stand, draw the sun sword. The blade shimmers in the moonlight. You don't concentrate on it to activate the radiant energy from it, but it does. The blade does light up the moment you draw it, so it expends that 20 feet of bright radiant light, and you raise it two-handed above the head and then straight down onto the back of Skathis' hand, severing it at the wrist.
Oh yeah.
The hand with the axe still in it drops to the ground, clatter, and Skathis, you would be stunned and absolutely shocked at this as you clutch your right hand.
I say, do not threaten her. She has done everything for you. We didn't bring you back to kill you again, you fool.
Fibble, can you stitch that back on? Because I don't know if I can. I can't. As I'm like picking up the hand.
Oh shit! I didn't expect this.
I don't know whether to be stunned or cure wounds immediately. I don't know.
I don't even think a cure wounds is going to reattach your hand here. Sorry, guys.
No.
Just hold the stump up to it and hit me, and then you'll be fine. It'll grow back and it takes like a week, right?
That's not how it works.
Is that what worked for you, Connor?
So, Skathis, you will also, I would say, with a natural 20, can I get you to roll some damage for me too, Karnos? Because this is going to definitely take some damage. He's lost a hand.
Okay.
So, maximize. Actually, what we'll probably do, two-handed, what's your dice for that?
Yeah, so it's 2d10 plus 7, plus I also added a d8 for my superiority.
So we're looking at 27 base damage here without rolling.
Oh, sorry, it's normally 1d10.
1d10. So, okay, so we're looking at 17 base damage.
Yeah.
Roll your extra d10 and your d8. So initially you got 17 so far.
We're gonna have to investigate this again.
Just 8.
So you take 24 points of slashing damage and...
Oh no, I'm two-handed, so when I roll a 1, I get to roll that again. So.
Okay, I forgot about that.
So I get to
so
roll
it'll be higher.
again. So that'll make it 10.
10. So 27 points of slashing damage. You go into shock as well, Skathis. You probably drop to your knees, clutching your wrist to stem the bleeding, because you are now bleeding heavily as well. All of you can see this. Karnos is standing over Skathis, the sword down to one side, raises it again and says what he said.
I'm gonna rush over and lay on hands for... I'm just gonna give it all, which I think is 45 something, because I don't know how bad it is. So
okay, so you're gonna give him the full lay on hands.
Yep.
Which will close the wound. You're no longer bleeding, which is a good thing, because if that bleeding hadn't been stemmed, he would have bled out very, very quickly.
So was it 40?
45.
Yeah.
I'm giving you 45.
So, Skathis, your hand, the wound on your hand closes. It stops bleeding. It still hurts, as you just had your hand severed. You now no longer have a right hand. So, what that's going to mean for you, you normally have 2 attacks in the attack action, don't you?
I believe so, yeah.
You'll still get those 2 attacks, but you'll no longer have your offhand attack, because you only now have 1 arm. So your bonus action attack, or your bonus action or offhand attack, is no longer able to be used. So you're limited to that 2 attacks in the attack action with your single hand.
Cool.
Just put that in your notes that you've lost your ability for your offhand attack. You may also get some disadvantages opposed in certain situations based on the fact you now only have 1 hand.
All good.
So we'll deal with that contextually at this point.
Feeble, can you do anything, Feeble?
Well, I can sew it back on. Whether or not it actually reinstates the blood flow is a completely different story. And what the fuck, Colonel?
And that's a good place to end our session tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I think that's the perfect place for the what the fuck moment. And I'll reiterate that. What the fuck? My God.
Bravo.
Bravo,
Karnos,
people.
Karnos,
Bravo.
he grabbed an axe from him and went over and held it up to Zadriel, and I just thought, and take the hand, and that.
The natural 20 was just perfect, though. I mean, if it had been just a standard hit, you may not have severed his hand. You definitely would have made him drop the axe and probably done some damage. But the natural 20, I couldn't even fluff that at all. Like, I wasn't going to say that he wasn't going to lose his hand. On a natural 20,
Zane.
He's losing his hand.
So, I mean,
the chat said it as well. The chat said as well. Zane loses another hand.
I jumped and rode in there, but
oh shit.
Oh, Drax did too.
Drax did as well, I think.
There was a reason for this
magic.
one this
And
time.
magic as well. Well done. Well done, team. I apologise to anyone in the chat and to those in the player group for throwing the dead children at you. That was something that I pulled out my butt at that time. It wasn't something that I thought about too much until after I said it. So I do apologise for those of you that do have children. Obviously, it's part of the story. It's not meant to be funny at all, but we do have to make light of these sometimes to get through them. So I do apologise if anyone did feel uncomfortable in that particular moment. Just have to get that out of the way. Anywho, favourite moments. tonight. There was definitely a lot of them. With Zadriel putting a hand up, I think we're going to go with Zadriel first. I saw that hand. It was like, hey.
I mean, I'll let you guys take the really big ones, but I really like every time Adok's timing of invisibility is just so perfect. You get invisibility. I thought that was really good.
I think you've utilized that spell so well. I mean,
and describing his fireball, that was really cool. I like that. So I'll leave the rest for everybody else.
No problem. We'll go to Mr. Kaunos next. We'll go around that way.
So yeah, Adok's firebolt in the wind or fireball in the wind thing. His explanation of that was hilarious because I didn't realize it was a fireball at first. I thought he was trying to do what Fibble did with the floating.
I thought I think he was trying to do that, but make it with a fireball and a wind spell,
which I thought was pretty cool.
The fact that he didn't have a spell slot for the wind spell made it just hilarious. I thought it was great,
and I really enjoyed Zadriel capitalizing on the my piss taken Fibblestib while he wasn't here. You know, I'm sure he says use to say Misa, and then she just sort of said it afterwards as well. So it was great. I'll leave the rest for the others.
I swear I said no when they asked Fibble to do it. I swear it. Skathis.
I'd have to say the confrontation with me and Adok. I enjoyed that. The fireballs, I mean, come on, really? Oh, and the rabbit.
The rabbit, yes. The poor rabbit. Squeak! And it's insta-dead. No worries. Anything else?
So I was remembering back when we first started the house.
Yes, the death house.
The death house, when we were down the bottom. What was Skathis doing towards the end of it? Trying to find a baby, if I remember correctly.
I do remember, yeah, he was trying to find the innocent baby, definitely. Turns out there was no baby.
Yep, but that's the other thing that probably triggered him as well.
That's a fair call. Like I said, again, that was a direct tie, obviously, to Skathis' backstory. For those that didn't figure that out, it was pretty obvious. But, Adok the Grey.
A lot of moments that everyone has covered that I wanted to say. So I'll add on that I think another cool moment on top of all of these was also Kaunos towards the end chopping off Skathis' hand. I mean, it makes sense.
I think that was the moment, really.
It makes sense, but as a player, I'm like, what the fuck? And you're like, hang on, no, it's two-handed damage. No, I'm gonna do something. It has to be the full damage. And then Fibbles tack onto the end as well with Zadriel asking if he could mend the hand. Him going, yeah, I don't know if I could get blood flow back in, but what the fuck?
Yeah, we could definitely stitch it back on for you.
Yeah, I'm going to have to read through all the healing to see if that... Because I just thought, they'll just heal it back on. It'll be mint.
No,
I never really thought
mortal damage like that, there is a spell that can do it, that can regrow the hand, and I can't remember exactly what it is, but it's a higher level spell.
I think it's a druid spell, I think
it's a druid spell, yeah. It's regeneration or something like that, but it can be done over time.
Nice.
I think they did it in campaign 1 on Critical Role with Vax's foot, because he almost burnt his foot off in fucking lava. So they had to, I think Keyleth used it to regrow his foot back. So there is a way of doing it, but unfortunately, where you guys are and what level you guys are, yeah, he's going to be one-handed for the remainder of this campaign. Unfortunately, which it definitely adds to flavor and stuff too. So
that's right. We'll give him a cool little hook that he can have.
Hey, you got two tinkerers in the group, so it's entirely possible.
Yeah, didn't we pick up a wish scroll?
Did you have a wish scroll?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I mean,
I'm not that. I'm a kind GM sometimes, but not that fucking kind.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
I don't fucking think so.
It's the bag of holding. Yeah.
I'm actually gonna go through the bag of holding, see what we've got.
Yeah. And lastly, but not leastly, Mr. Fibblestib, who has returned for the second half of our show this evening.
Yeah. I think the best part out of what I had got to witness was probably Kaunos chopping off Skathis' hand.
Definitely.
But it's kind of like, okay, yeah, now I can heal it, and I can I can lesser restoration it.
Yeah, unfortunately, that doesn't really help either.
Although I do have a greater restoration as well.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking about it. What you could do? I mean, I suppose before it was healed, if you were to push it together and possibly use a high level healing spell on it, would potentially heal the wounds and have it work. It may not work 100%. There would still be some disadvantages attached to it, but Zadriel healed almost straight away. So yeah, Zadriel reacted the way that she would react and jumped in and gave him that massive heal to obviously stem the bleeding, because he lost a hand. Arteries are exposed. He would have been jetting blood out of his wrist and would have bled out very, very quickly. So I think Zadriel reacted in the exact way that she should have, and to stem the bleeding and save his life again. So hopefully Skathis takes that on board.
Sunsword Radiant, would it seal?
Yes and no. It's not really fire. It's just a radiant damage, which is more aimed at the undead and specific fiends that obviously take extra damage from it.
He's a damn fiend.
If there had been, I mean, you could have jammed his hand in the fire too, I guess, but that would have been more funny. But in saying that, again, chat, any moments from you guys too, don't hesitate to let us know before we finish up. For me, I think the whole session went really, really well. You guys did well. Obviously coming down off Slinker Pass, through Slinker Pass, coming down the mountain in the last session. This session, I wasn't really sure how you guys were going to react with the Vistani Wagon. But that kind of worked out. Well, kind of what I expected too. I mean, you guys have had 2 or 3 really negative encounters with them now, so it kind of made sense that you would react in that way. Also, knowing that you need gemstones to resurrect Emilia, knowing that these guys do leave this realm, it is a possibility they definitely have them, and obviously you found out that they do, which hopefully you guys took note of, because who's to say that they don't have more stashed. Obviously. I'm sure someone in the party's thinking about that. And of course, just, yeah, that whole end scenario, just the zone of truth, the command, the 2 failed rolls on that from Skathis, poor Skathis. And then obviously now losing his hand. But again, it kind of makes sense. He made a very quick and poignant movement towards Zadriel, which obviously Karnos deemed and interpreted as a hostile maneuver. I'd say Zadriel probably would have deemed it hostile to begin with as well, because of how quick you would have moved. As a monk, you move extremely quickly. Using the dash action, you would have got there and not in an instant, but very, very fast. It would have been definitely, I would have perceived it as a hostile gesture, and I probably would have reacted in much the same way. So I think you guys handled that very well. Did not expect the cutting off the hand though.
Yeah. Especially after the type of conversation where it was heading as well.
The whole conversation was very intense and very pointed. So yeah, it kind of makes sense. I think again, Trash, very well done. The rest of you, obviously all of you, very, very, very well done with the roleplay as always. I love it. Fibble, are we going to have the pleasure of your presence next Wednesday? Either half show or full show.
I am not 100% sure.
Let me know when you can.
Look.
Yeah, let me know when you can. Just chuck me a DM in Discord just so I can plan anything that I need to plan. Because generally I've essentially been playing Fibble and Timothy while you're not here. Trying to keep it as simple as possible. Trying to remember the weirdness that is Fibble. So
there's one comment in the chat that I like. It's from Magic. Evil doesn't need monsters to TPK
I see
the
that.
party.
Yeah, the party will do it for me. Exactly. You guys will TPK each other. Maybe that was the idea all along, to turn you all insane and have you all kill each other.
It's working.
I was there from the get-go, so...
Yes, so yeah, well, Fibble's been nuts from day one. So, but yes, so that's it from us this evening, ladies and germs. We are going to raid. Make sure you join me tomorrow night, speaking of monsters, as I will be doing some more monster creation tomorrow night. We're going to be starting with a creation courtesy of Mr. Trashman. This creation is his own. We talked about it a little bit today. which I think is very, very cool. Let's see who we can raid. So definitely come and hang out with us tomorrow night, 8 o'clock New Zealand Standard Time, or just before.
Drax. No.
I have to go, everybody.
No worries.
Tomorrow, so
No worries,
catch
bud.
you later.
Catch you, man. We'll see you on Saturday.
Saturday, yep. Catch you guys.
I think
unless the bee dolphins can go into sewers, well, they could probably go in the sewers.
The
but
bee
in
dolphin.
the
What bee dolphin? There's no such thing. Who are we going to raid? We can. Dolphin. Yeah, Drax wants me to mash a bee and a dolphin together. It's like, yeah, that's not going to happen. We should raid Era. He's part of our community. How long's he been streaming for? Now we're going to raid Era, guys. I think most of you probably end up over there anyway. We'll just send everybody over there. So yeah, tomorrow night we're going to do that. I'm going to do, after we've done Trashy's creation, I'm going to extend on that and create 2 more creatures that are directly in relation to that creature. Then I'm going to look at doing a variant on one of the creatures, the Gnolodite, which is a troglodyte / Gnoll combination. We're going to do a caster variation of that as well. No worries, Blue Jay. Glad you guys enjoyed it. Again, obviously tomorrow night for monster making, and then back here on Sunday for the Paradigm 2 Shadows Embrace. Potentially the first assignment for our new recruits, and maybe some combat. We'll see. I was going to say the Friday with Yanti, but there is no Friday with Yanti this week.
It will be a Call of Cthulhu.
Well, there you go.
Here we go.
So there will be a Friday with Yanti this week. It'll be a Call of Cthulhu thing. So most of you are already following Yanti, but make sure you go check her out. I don't know. Drax, you still there? Can we get a shout out from Miss Yanti, please, before we raid? Make sure if you guys are not following Yanti1, go over there. She's currently running a Sleeping Dragon's Wake campaign.
Really, Blue Jay.
And unfortunately, certain players aren't available, so they're doing a Call of Cthulhu adventure instead. And I think they'll be back with the Sleeping Dragon's Wake the week after, and you might see an old character return on that show. So come and hang out with us then. Until then, take care. Don't do anything I wouldn't do, but I know it doesn't leave you a whole lot. And we will see you tomorrow.